Beloved sister, welcome to the Wild Feminine Moon Codes transmission for the full moon in Capricorn. She is the matriarch and the legacy weaver inside of you. So as we begin, let's start with a question for ourselves. Are you building a legacy, or are you just surviving another week? No shame. But we are the first generation of women with this much power and also this much pressure. And Capricorn has something to say about this for us. If we feel like our soul is buried beneath our schedule and we are hustling, but we're not getting closer to the life and the world that actually lights us up, if we're overspinning with responsibility or burnout or proving, then this full moon has some deep messaging for us to awaken the feminine wisdom within our bodies, because we were not born to hustle. We were born to be a staff holder, to be the great ancient grandmother holding the wisdom for our communities. And Capricorn doesn't want more from you, even though she often is called the boss babe with her extreme driven nature. But she wants to teach us how to anchor sacred structure that serves our feminine ease. We don't need more women achieving, we need more women anchoring. Because legacy isn't about performance. Legacy is our prayer, the prayer of our soul made real in the 3D world. And Capricorn, as the elder of the zodiac, who is the earth sign, she is here to remind us that every thread we spin of our time, our energy, and our intention becomes the foundation for our future and the future of the world. So I invite you to take a delicious, conscious breath as we call on Grandmother Spider. In the Hopi lineage, she is the one who spins the world into being. And just like all spiders, she carries a deep feminine transmission. It is her joy and her pleasure to weave her expressive web at this art piece. She doesn't have to be taught how to do it. It just emanates from inside of her, this beautiful, glistening net of possibility. And she lays the framework and she does it right and she's organized and she honors her time. And then what happens? The net is cast and she simply lays back, chills, and receives. So the sacred structure of what is often thought of as one of the most masculine signs of the zodiac, right alongside Mars, Capricorn, is that the sacred structure there really creates freedom for our feminine transmission to come through, for our feminine medicine to come through, for the future. So we invoke and we invite Grandmother Spider, the teacher of structure and soul, to illuminate our web today, illuminating how our words and our work and our walk are the foundation of the legacy we are leaving. And as we dive in, let's acknowledge the feminine wisdom keepers throughout time, because those are the matriarchs. And that is who we are invoking with Capricorn, and that is who we are becoming. They are the sacred holders of tradition. Capricorn anchors into what is solid and stable. Now, of course, if we go shadow on that, Capricorn becomes the patriarchy, right? Capricorn becomes the outdated religion operating off a text that was mistranslated. Capricorn can become the abusive policeman. Capricorn can become the corrupt CEO, or the parts of us that just stay at our job because that's what we're supposed to do versus what our intuition is guiding us to do. So that's shadow Capricorn. But in her wisdom, Capricorn is the ancient wise grandmothers who came before us and left us a legacy. Those ones who, even amidst the burning of the witches, the burning of healers, the burning and suppression of women throughout time, still passed down the mystery teachings, the goddess mythology, the sacred sexuality, the women's stories, the traditions of plants, herbalism, of motherhood, of midwifery, that are now, we have an opportunity to be fully receiving as we slowly peel back the layers of patriarchal violence. So as we step into the power of these ancient wisdom keepers, these ancestresses of ours that we are becoming, right, in training as ancestors, we remember that Capricorn is not just the goat, she is the sea goat. So not only does she climb to the heights, but she swims to the depths. She is strategic, hell yeah, but she is also spiritual, watery. She is the legacy weaver who is the grandmother. She does not chase the trend. She weaves with wisdom. She plants trees whose shade she may never sit under and most likely will not sit under. She builds not just for now, but for the future. So the feminine face of Saturn, which is Capricorn's ruling planet, is not the cold taskmaster, right? That would be her shadow, but she's the wise elder who's not about being in control, which would be the shadow, but about commitment, about sticking with it, about perseverance. And while Saturn can always be the restriction, Saturn is that boundary keeper of the zodiac. So it is the farthest planet that we can see with the naked eye. And so it becomes the boundary between this world and the next. And that energy is the healthy boundaries, right? Reverence, commitment, devotion. But in its shadow, it can become restriction. So the story we always speak about Saturn is the question, is the fence on the border of the playground meant to keep danger out? Or is it meant to keep the children in? And when children are young, that's very important to keep them in. And as we start to grow and develop, maybe we need to expand the boundary. This is where discernment comes in. This is where boundaries come in. And this is where we need wisdom to know where do we need our sacred structures and where do we need the spontaneity and the freedom of the feminine. So when we talk about the feminine, of course, we're on an archetypal level. We're talking about creativity and spontaneity and intuition and presence and the spiritual essence of this moment, the dance of Shakti. But of course, structure is the enemy of the feminine. It is the polarity of the feminine. It is the masculine service to the feminine. So we are being asked this full moon to root our devotion into reality, into the 3D. So what does that mean in tangible language? This is a sacred savings account. This is nourishing routines that keep your health at its peak for your elder years. This is boundary calendars. Like I have my note above my calendar right here. Double check your moon cycle dates. And I actually ran into this today, is that I double checked my blood cycle dates, but I didn't double check the actual moon cycle dates. And then I overbooked myself because every new and full moon I have so many beautiful things, rituals that I lead. And this is a perfect example, is that the Capricorn within me, the legacy weaver, wants me to not only have the double check your blood cycle dates sign right above my calendar, but also the double check the moon cycle dates. Because now, bless this day, and it is a long day. And so I support, I call in my Capricorn, my matriarch, to really sit with what is this big picture, long-term cultivation of health and well-being, and the structures of my life and business and family that allow me to show up in my ease and my fullness and my pleasure. So this would also be thoughtful business models and moon cycles tracked and honored. This is tracking the moon dates and tracking your blood cycle dates. Because when we build right, we get to rest more. And when we structure with soul, we create space for the sacred, for our art, for our deep dive relationships. And this is what it means to be a leader in the new earth. And if there is any leader in the new earth, there's any part of you that is the leader, it is Capricorn. But she doesn't want to lead from her shadow, which would be hustle. She wants to lead with harmony. She teaches us that our legacy is not just about our work. It's not just about what we do. It's our way of being. Your legacy is how your presence echoes after you leave a room. Your legacy is what your great-granddaughters will know in their bones, even if they never know your name. Let me repeat that. Your legacy as an awakening woman, as a priestess, is what your great-granddaughters will know in their bones, even if they never know your name. We all inherited structures. Some are sacred, and some are suffocating. And this moon asks you to discern what patterns are ready to end and what patterns are you ready to pass on, not only to yourself, but to those after you. Because your work is not a task list, it's a web. It is sacred geometry of the spider that others will walk across. Just like the spider inherits in her DNA the knowing of how to spin a web, we are anchoring the energetic transmission for the future of the world. Now, what is the antidote to the shadow of Capricorn, right? Who is rigid and perfectionist. She's the martyr CEO, too busy for life, the one who forgets to feel. When this shadow element of you, the boss babe, let's say, leads without her heart, her legacy turns to stone. So what is the antidote? Well, it's the full moon. So surprise, surprise, the antidote is the opposite sign, is the polar sign. This is the same every year. And what is the polar opposite of? I won't even say opposite. What is the polarity? Who is the sacred partner, the sacred beloved of Capricorn? Cancer, of course. We're in the Cancer Cancer lunation. So we have her opposite, Capricorn, as the full moon. And Cancer medicine, of course, is feel, remember your softness, nourish the parts of you that no one sees or will ever see. Cancer invites us to cry and to rest and to laugh with our children, to make soup, to say no, to feather our nest of our home. So if Capricorn is the structure, then Cancer is the soul that lives within it, right? So we need to have a bowl in order to fill it with soup. Capricorn is the bowl. Cancer is the soup. So that's the sacred polarity. And together, when they're in sacred marriage, when they're in harmony, They teach us to build lives that feel like a home and to create systems that actually nourish us and others and the future. Because legacy work isn't about what we do, it's about who we become while we are doing it. Legacy isn't about what we do, it's about who we become while we are doing it, because that is what gets passed down energetically to the next generation. Now, this full moon exemplifies that polarity, Capricorn, Cancer, the weaver and the mother, or if we were in more traditional astrology, we would say Capricorn's the father, Cancer's the mother. Capricorn climbs, Cancer cradles. Capricorn governs the outer world, career, systems, and impact, while Cancer governs the inner world, emotion, intuition, home, womb. And Capricorn asks, what are you building? While Cancer asks, is it safe to feel at home within what you are building? And we are talking relationships, we are talking businesses, we are talking habits, we are talking jobs, we are talking our relationships to ourselves. Is it safe, whatever you're building, is it safe to feel at home within that structure? Or does the structure need to shift in order to be safer, more sanctified? Now, let's begin to wrap up here. And remember that we are the legacy weavers. We are the matriarchs. That asks that we build with devotion, that we are grandmother spider weaving the web. We are conscious architects of our lives. That we plant with presence and we nourish the now. That we remember we aren't just creating for ourselves, but we are anchoring a timeline. So what groundwork, what foundation, what building of abundance, what building of abundance the feminine way, what building of your health sustainably supports you to anchor the new timeline, the new earth, because you are the matriarch of the new earth. Honoring you, sister. Happy full. Blessed.